Hello. So here we are again, and we are looking at naming files dynamically based on values in a particular row of a CSV. And I'm just going to show you something. I'm going to show you a comment I had, or a suggestion rather. And it was, let me just find it. So unprofessional. I should have done this already. I'm desperately sorry about this. So here we go. Thanks, docxtpl. This is awesome. Thank you. Thank you for the comment. Thanks for your interest. Is there a way to save the file with a string other than 123? Yeah. Bit of history on that. The reason I did that was because I didn't want to reveal the actual real names of the files, as I was actually doing this for a real project with 102 work plans, and I didn't want to sort of expose any sort of security risks of locations of places that were being upgraded, or places that were in desperate need of upgrading because they were running very old firmware. So anyway, I was about to do it, and yeah, I got a reply from G Sucius, and he's already done it, and he even told me how he did it. So df.column dataframe column name .loc location, and then the iterable. So I've actually updated my code as well, and here we see, so within the for loop, a bit of history on this if you haven't already seen the video. I'll put the link up to the original video, and there's a playlist for there's a playlist with all of the videos relating to dynamically creating Word documents using Python. Yeah, just to mention that it's using docxtpl, which is a Python module which is written by Eric Lapouillard. I think I've pronounced that properly. Okay, yeah, so there's a function which actually creates each document. You see my main code, which I create dataframe 2, I get the length, and then I just print out how many files the user should expect, and then we begin the iteration through each row of the data frame. And then in each one, I'm trying to pick out the title, and then that will become, for each iteration, that will become the file name, and then print to the screen making file name. And yeah, I'm moving the mouse around on my Atom screen, but obviously you can also see my command line output, which I've already run. So I thought I'd leave that there. It's not, I wouldn't have just done this without testing. It'd be a bit of a silly video to watch me spend 20 minutes scratching my head because I put a bracket somewhere wrong. So yeah, it's already run. Look, you can see there will be 6 files. There will be df2 files. Making file. There we go. Making file. Fname. So fname corresponds to what I'm highlighting here, which comes from what I've just described, and then I just pass the iteration number and the file name into my mkw function, make Word, mkw, make Word document. I always sort of try and explain my reasoning behind it. I don't know if that's of interest, possibly not, who knows. And I've just modified this. If you've seen my code before, then previously I was just using a number for the file, so it was 1.docx, 2.docx, 3.docx, and now if I just move this over a bit, you can see in my project directory, those were all of the old files. So previously I was making those 1 to 6, and you can see the files that I've now created: Bath, Bristol, Liverpool, London, Manchester, and it looks like yeah, so that's just alphabetical. That's just the way that Atom is choosing to display them. Because they're not in alphabetical order in my original CSV, which real life's like that, isn't it? I think they were probably originally listed by IP address by the look of it. That was the sort column originally. So I just thought, well, it's a bit boring if I don't do any sort of live stuff. So let's just run it, shall we? I know. I always think I should delete any old files. And on this bit of particular code, I haven't put in my os.remove. Okay, so CSV, which you can see there. So we're going to get 6 files. That's the Python code. We can ignore that. And the template docx file. And I've left in the if statement, which you may have seen in the, not the last video, one before that. Let's just run it. That if code that I'm referring to was code that puts in a specific message based on a value. So on mine, I think the bath router is a Cisco 877, so I put in some code in the template to say if the model equals 877, then to put in model is too old. And that's worked quite nicely. So if we look at the Bristol one, it won't be an 877, so it's 2960, and it says can upgrade, this is okay. If you've not seen that video, I'll just quickly show you the template. Hopefully it'll open nicely. There you go. So if model, so you put it inside the curly braces, and then you have to do an else and an end if. I'll just shut up for 5 seconds. You can freeze that if you want. There you go. What was I going to do? I was going to change something. I will change. I know. What we'll do is just for lols, let's just change. So instead of title, so you see what I'm highlighting here, title. That matches title there. So whatever's in the CSV, I know it doesn't really look like a CSV because I've opened it in Atom, but it's just easier to display it like that, and the LibreOffice takes a while to open. So title, actually that could be called location really, but so you can see the last column, trust me it is a column, fluffy, muffy, huffy, stuffy, moo, tuffy. So that will be, that's 4, isn't it? Am I using 4? The 4th column? Oh no, I'm not using it. I'm not using the index number, so actually that's fine. So instead of, let's just edit that. So instead of using title for the file name, let's use comment. So I'm going to update that. And yeah, that's fine. So now if I run it now, I should get, instead of Bath, Bristol, London and so on, I should get files called fluffy, muffy, huffy and so on. Let's run it, shall we? And see what happens. And that is very good because we're getting fluffy docx, huffy docx, muffy and so on. So that shows you how you can dynamically create Word documents using one template file and a CSV where the data inside the Word document is read from one row of the CSV, and I've just demonstrated that you can name the Word document also based on any given cell or any given value from a particular column in that row. that makes sense. So the first row is that, and we're now picking out comments, so that's why it's called it fluffy. If I wanted, I could change that from comment to, you could go back to ID and it'd just be numbers again. Yeah, probably, let's just change that back, because it's, if I do ever come back to this, I think title is the best name to call it, because that's what gives you the location name. So I hope this has been interesting. It might not be interesting if you haven't followed the previous videos, so if you want to see the creation of the code, see my previous attempts, then I'll put some links up to those. But really, you can use this. I'll put the link to this on GitHub. You can make your own CSV. If you want to change the name of it, then you'll just need to change it in the code here. So I'm calling it CNW, Charlie November Whiskey. That stood for Customer Network, but you could call it abc.csv, and then that would be the only place where you would need to change it, actually. Yeah, so create your own CSV. You can have as many columns as you want, as many rows as you want. It's all done dynamically. So the reason why I'm so excited by this is because, yeah, I'm only making 6 here, but potentially you could make 200, 2,000, 10,000 Word documents. The example I read, or that I think on Eric Lapouillade on his GitHub page, one of his suggestions was, for instance, like a university, and it was creating a Word document like a certificate, one per student with their exam grades on and so on. So you could dynamically read all of their exam grades from the CSV and create a custom Word document, one per student, and 2,000 students, you just click this and go and have a cup of tea, come back, and it's done. So I think this is really cool, and it would be amazing if you had to do a lot of them, and you know, this could save days or weeks of somebody's time. Or what I would probably do is say that it would take me 2 weeks, write this code, and then shut the door and pretend I'm busy doing this and put a do not disturb sign on my door. But that's naughty, isn't it? Anyway, here ends today's lesson. So don't forget to, is it that side? No, it's that side, isn't it? Subscribe, like, thumbs up, blah blah blah. See you around. Yeah, blah blah blah.
Don't forget to subscribe.